Welcome back to another episode of Fully Stoked Podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Stokes, and I'm here with another great friend and fantastic human, Nora D. Richardson. Welcome, Nora. Guys, let me tell you, if you've never seen Fully Stoked Podcast before, this is a podcast where we interview women entrepreneurs, sometimes men entrepreneurs, sometimes chefs. But this series is specifically focused on really sharing the expertise of other women with you so that you can glean from and learn from Nora's expertise. So Nora she's the founder of Spot On Branding. She has spent more than 25 years helping entrepreneurs, authors, speakers, and subject matter experts build brands that actually connect with their audience and convert into real business. She specializes in something called foundational branding. So this is deeper work, and it just helps you understand. She's going to talk all about this, but it's something new to me because I'm trying to learn about branding right now. But it's not just your logo and your fonts. It's more than that. She helps you understand everything from your values to your story, your positioning and messaging. Can't wait to get into that. And Nora's story is far beyond branding. Her life journey is one of resilience, grit, and determination. She's overcome an incredibly difficult childhood, and she's now built a wonderful, thriving business and a beautiful life through perseverance, education, and a belief that circumstances do not define your future. This is so inspiring. Welcome to the show, Nora. I'm so glad that our paths have crossed and that I've met you. Honestly, you're a fantastic human, and I'm very grateful to our common friend, Leanne, for introducing us. So welcome. Thank you so much for being here. So first of all, I think just tell us what foundational branding is as opposed to what most people think it is with the fonts and the colors and the logos.
So foundational branding, all right, let's take it back a little bit in the sense that, most people, what they do is they start with the visual and they think that that's actually, I've got a logo, I've got colors, I've got a website, I've got social media, I am done with branding. And that's usually the last step in foundational branding. Visuals only actually create like this facade for your brand, but it doesn't actually create anything deeper. And so people actually, when they do the logos, they're putting this nice neon sign out, saying, look at me, look at me, look at me. But what happens is that when the audience goes deeper, all you have is a facade. You don't have anything of substance that's actually they can relate to and, want to actually buy from you. So foundational branding is that substance.
Tell us about your background and how you got into the world of branding, and maybe that'll help shed some light on the whole foundational piece too. Like why do we start with a foundation instead of the logo and the neon lights, right?
But so basically I relate that to a picture of a wonderful hamburger or an actual hamburger. Which one do you want to eat the picture of the wonderful hamburger, or do you want to actually have it? And so what happens is when you only do the logo and all the visual stuff, what happens is they get attracted to it, but there's no substance. They can't eat it. So they move on to somebody who is actually serving them something that they're hungry for, right?
Substance. That's the key. The critical piece is the substance. So you help people actually with the substance.
The substance. Right. And the substance is the foundational branding steps of values, story, positioning. And positioning means positioning your story and your values to an audience. Differentiation. And that's differentiating yourself from the other people in your world that you're kind of competing against. And then messaging. So those are the steps before a logo.
I love it. So do you work with people like small, like one woman shops? I mean, I have a couple of different assistants, but like, it's just me, as my brand is me. Now I hang my license with a wonderful company called Coast to Coast Mortgage Lending. I love the company. It's fantastic, but I don't walk around with Coast to Coast t-shirts on and Coast to Coast flyers. Because there's just not a huge presence, right? Like Movement Mortgage is huge and Fairway Mortgage is huge and they're wonderful. but my brand is not that, right? My brand is Sarah Stokes, home loans powered by Coast to Coast Mortgage Lending. Do you work with people like me ever?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Authors, speakers, and subject matter experts. You would count as a subject matter expert. So your subject matter is real estate, and people are actually buying into you. They're not buying into your company that that's over you, right?
Exactly.
They're buying
Yeah.
into you. So you are the brand that needs to be shining from all the other people that are doing real estate.
That's amazing. That's so helpful because when you're small, you're just, small local business, right? You just need as much help as you can get. So number one, I appreciate you coming on here and sharing this information with all these other people. A lot of women watch this, but sure, it could help, men or anybody. So you said you've been in the business for 26 years, but you haven't always worked for yourself, right? Have you worked for other companies?
Well, I mean, very young. 26 years, that's a lot. I mean,
Well,
for
you
to
must
work.
have been like 5, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I worked, I've worked all over. I've worked since I was 15. So 15, then college, and worked all throughout college. And then I did a lot of different things in graphic design once I graduated.
Okay. Graphic design, yeah.
Yes. And
And
that's where I
that's like logos, right? Graphic design means logos and things like that.
brochures, it's marketing materials, yes. So
Okay.
basically anything that you put your brand on, and advertising is what I did for the longest time. And then I did maps. Um, I taught graphic design and drawing. I mean, you name it. I even like at one point in time tried newspaper routes. Like you just do what you got to do. It's one of those things.
Don't you think like all of those experiences, built your foundation of spot on branding because you can draw from all of those experiences, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's what makes me really good. I mean, I learned, um, let's see, publications. I was doing tourist publications and maps. For one, I worked for an architect and I did big architectural kinds of maps for him. And I did, screen printing and embroidery, and I mean, you name it. I have kind of done it. I've even done sets for theater departments. So
That's so cool. Yeah. Yeah.
yes, everything actually ties everything together for me and really made it easy for me to go out on my own because I had gone in so many different niches because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I found out that my personal greatness was being able to listen and translate other people's businesses into a story and into visuals. And that was the whole thing of me doing what I do. I got to create a business around all of my personal interests, and
That is so cool. Is that what is it called brand strategist? Is that what you call
that's what I
yourself?
am.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
But I didn't, although I was doing brand strategy all along, I didn't realize that I was a brand strategist because I'd never met a brand strategist. I never got taught. I just fell into this and was good at it and followed my nose and my intuition. And it's the business of branding is actually flawed in my opinion. And so when I was doing the logos and things of that nature, I was noticing that although the look and the feel of their brand was fabulous, it wasn't actually connecting them to their audience in a way that the audience would buy. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, well, the whole point of branding is not just to be this, to a neon sign. It's actually the whole point of a business is to make money. And so, yeah, I was like, I think that a brand actually should do more than be a neon sign and attract people. It should actually help them convert easier. And so I
Mm,
started down this road of like, I think we're doing it wrong. We're doing it wrong. We're focusing on the wrong things first. And so by experimenting on my own brand as well as with my clients, finding out what actually made the mark, what actually landed them business, that's when I said, man, I'm onto something. It's not
yeah.
about the visuals. The
Yeah.
visuals are last, but we as human beings are visual people or visual beings. And so basically we think that's the most important, but it's not.
And
It's
you
really
can't start there because you help people. You said something about their essence. So turning someone's essence into a brand is what you do. And I think so many of us need help doing that because I don't know what my essence is. So I imagine a lot of people don't know what their essence is. So you're like skilled at helping us figure it out, pulling out the parts and then making something of it, I guess.
absolutely connecting the dots is what I do is basically I really listen to what you're doing and what you're wanting to do. And the thing is that your story is what connects you to the people who want to buy from you. And most people don't know what that story is because you're living in your whole world. You don't know the pertinent bits, right? You need an objective outlook to help you find those personal bits that really make you different than all the other people like you. How many real estate agents are there in
Right.
the area, right? Like what makes you different? Who actually is more attracted to you? And what stories do you have in common with them that will actually say, man, you know what? She's the one for me. And that's the kind of thing that I do. That's what I bring to light. And I help you figure out those types of things. Your values are very important. Your why you're in this business is very important.
Yeah.
How you go about doing it is equally as important. But you've got to know all these things and understand who you need to be made with so that you can actually attract more of those people because those people will buy from you more often than not.
Well, I think yes. And who has the time to do that? So when our businesses get going, it's like, oh, wait, let me figure out my brand. And it's more like, what are my colors going to be is so much faster than what is the essence of me going to be. So it's
It's
good that
hard.
we could just go to you and you have a step-by-step process to help to figure that out for us, I guess, and get us on the road to the right branding. And then branding, like, so help, not foundational branding, but ultimately, I guess I'm talking about the end product is you want to be recognized, right? You want people that Sarah Stokes home loans. I recognize her, or right? Is that part of branding too?
Yes, that's brand identity. And basically
Okay,
it is, and it's kind of flawed on the exact same breath in the
tell
sense
me about
that,
it, girl.
well, think about social media. All right. Do you want hundreds and thousands of people viewing your content? Or do you want a smaller amount of people to actually buy what you do?
Definitely, yeah. So I've had to deal with a lot of that, trying to figure out what is my goal in social media. I think brand recognition is a goal, but it is not my ultimate goal. My ultimate goal is to position myself in front of people that are going to want a loan. They want to buy a house. So then they'll know to come to me. Hey, she's a good option. She offers education. She offers hand holding and she answers the phone at night and on the weekends, So I think that would be like my values, I guess. So just not just my face is the brand identity and my colors and my logo. Is that more brand identity? Is your face, your color, and your logos?
That's brand identity is anything that's visual that you're using to actually be memorable. Yes, absolutely. But what you were just saying is what your ultimate goal is to build trust.
Trust, yes.
That's what you're going for. It's not
Okay.
necessarily visibility. I mean, visibility goes hand in hand, but you're wanting trust so that people will actually think about who can I trust? Who I have seen Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so, yes, it goes hand in hand, but it's not about visibility per se. It's more about what's that feeling that you want people to associate you with.
Okay.
And
And
that
that,
is
I mean, you,
foundational.
okay. So it is the trust, I guess, is where you say like the values and the story, and then you help with the positioning.
But visual consistency also builds trust. So some people are going to say, but no, if you do a logo and you've got the same colors and you're consistent and you have the same look and blah, 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 that builds trust. Yes, it does. But you know what builds trust even more is what you're saying and doing and feeling and the clear messaging that you're putting out there to the world along with your visuals that are doing the same thing. It just makes if you have everything going in the exact same direction, feeling the exact same way, and consistent, then your marketing actually works better when you have a brand that actually works with the marketing and your goals of what you're trying to do. And that's the whole thing. That's what people miss is lots of small business owners, especially solopreneurs like yourself. What happens is they lose sight of what they're trying to do. They think, I need visibility. No, you need sales.
Because
You need
too
people.
much. Yes. Okay.
You
Okay.
need
So
to
I hear you saying something that I've talked to other women in different areas of business, but it sounds like it's coming down to authenticity. Because if you're authentically a real person and you're really good at your job and you're presenting you help, how is Sarah good at her job? How are her values coming through that she is authentic and a real person, as opposed to here are some pictures of her and she's smiling all the time. But that doesn't tell you that she's authentically intelligent and knows how to work numbers to your advantage. That doesn't tell you that she's educated and she understands how to work mortgages. So I think authenticity, but a lot of the women that I've talked to, in advertising and speaking and authenticity, it always kind of boils down to authenticity. People feel that. I think they just feel it the more authentic you are. And I think if you just go out there and you just throw your logo out a lot or pictures of you and there's not much to it, there's not much depth to it, it doesn't come across as very authentic. But how could it really? Because people can't connect with you, right?
Well, and you do a very good point. The thing that I help with a lot is lots of people think that they need to perform who they should be rather than communicate who they really are. And that is a felt thing. We're humans. We feel real. We feel those things. We understand what is at an energetic level. We know what feels authentic, as you're saying. I'm not really all that. I hate that word. I'm just going to say it.
Why? Why is that?
I hate that word. It's overused, and authenticity has become like just a word. And it's actually the meaning behind the word is correct. It's you just got to be you. You are your brand. If you're a solopreneur, you are your brand. You are the thing that people are buying into and saying yes or no to. And that can be hard to put yourself out there and be judged and and to actually really feel all the things and be rejected, do all the things that you think are right and be rejected. And the problem with that is that you're trying to get too many people. If you really knew who you were actually meant for, if you did your branding, then you wouldn't be rejected by nearly as many people. You would know exactly who they are, where to go, where to find them, how to talk to them, what stories you need to tell them that share with them they say, man, you know what? That's exactly me. I need that. You are the person I've been looking for forever. They just get you. They get what they want. And that's the power of foundational branding is you don't have to explain yourself too much. You just are. You just are that person. And people will just gravitate to you. And you're not trying to attract marketing them. They'll just be attracted to you because they like your energy. They like what you're saying. They like what you're doing. They like how you're doing it. They like what you're looking like. But it's more of a feeling. It's an internal feeling.
And so your branding helps people to feel that.
Yeah, well, yes. And you, the actual business owner, to feel that. You feel more confident. You know what you're talking about. You know who to actually look for. You've got all this stuff, right? Like you're like, man, I've got this armor and it's fabulous. And look at it. Yeah. Right.
Well, help me understand how authenticity is like bad. I don't understand.
Well, no, it's just the word. I don't like the word. The word is overused. It's one of those marketing, words.
Okay.
No, you must be authentic. I just don't like it. No, you need to be real. Let's just say, you. You
Okay.
don't even have to be real. You just have to be you. You just have to understand who you are. And I think lots of people are afraid to go deep into who they are.
So your process is it helps you have a process that helps us to determine that together as a team. Then if somebody wanted to work with you, you would walk them through finding their values, their story, positioning, messaging, and is it clarity of audience, or
It's
what is the other one you
positioning and differentiation and messaging.
Messaging. Okay. Well, that's wonderful. All right. So one concept that you shared is that we should be able to, I guess, after all of this, be able to share in one sentence. Is that right?
Absolutely.
What our brand foundation is. It's got to be crystal clear like that. Be able to do that.
It's not just you sum it up in one sentence, but it's also having the person that you told the one sentence to be able to relay it back to you as well.
It makes
Accurately.
sense. Yeah.
Because you're not just doing this in your own silo, right? You've got to be able to say it out and then have it reflected back to you accurately. And if you can't, then there's a foundational problem in your branding.
It sounds like a process, and it sounds like you're also a bit of a coach, and maybe even in many ways sort of a therapist, all wrapped into one, right?
Yes, it's actually, I joke on that, but yes, it is. It's very hard doing all of this, facing all of this, trying to figure this all out and not wanting to be a failure, right? And wanting to actually do whatever you're wanting to do for whatever the reasons you're doing them for, right? So what happens is that you need somebody that understands what the plan is, where we're going, right? You got to have somebody that understands a business enough to say, this is actually a good positioning. This is not as strong. This is a good story. This is a better story. You should say it this way versus that way, these types of things. And then having somebody to cheer you on and say, man, you're fantastic. You're great. You're going to do this. These are the things that, these are the reasons why you want to keep going. And have that support. Women, especially, have lots of fears and issues with being in business for themselves. One is they don't feel like they're good enough. They don't value what makes them who they are. A man will actually go into a room of people and know one thing about a subject and think he's the expert in the room. And a woman will have like 15 years of education and walk into a room and saying, you know what, I should have one more certification before I talk to anybody about this. Right? Like that's the difference. So I'm that person that says, no, you are ready right now. You don't need another certification. You don't need more education.
That's good.
You're the person that needs to actually get out there and go.
So how long does one work with you? If we were to start working together, how long would be a normal amount of time that we can anticipate working together?
Well, it depends on, it can take if you just want to get in and out and you just want the steps, the six steps, or we'll say the 5 steps before a logo. That's 3 to 6 months, depending on how good you are and how much you do your homework, kind of thing, right? But the thing is that your brand is always evolving. You're always evolving. And so I have clients that I've worked with for 20 years. So they keep coming back, right? And it's because I know their brand and who they are and where they've been better than anybody else in the whole entire world, so that I can help to navigate and direct them in directions on how they grow, because you're constantly adding things. You're constantly doing things. You're not stagnant in this world, and neither should your brand. You are constantly growing. You learn every day. Well, at least I learn every single day. So you're not in a vacuum, so your brand can't be in a vacuum either. Naturally, the world is changing, so you have to change what you're doing and how you say it or do it as well. It's the actual process to get it in your and working, no more than 6 months.
Okay. It's good to know. Now your core theme, I think, is freedom. So tell us about that. Your core value, I guess, is freedom. You said freedom is a huge value for you. So what does it mean to you personally? And how can strong branding create freedom for your business owners?
So freedom to me is autonomy. However I want to live my life, and it means bringing meaning to what I do and how I do it, and to my clients. It's freedom to do what I want to do and how I want to do it. I guess freedom freedom is such one of those things. It's so big, right? It's like everybody has their own version and definition of what that looks like for them. It's really freedom to be me and who I am and who I want to be and where I want to go and how I want to travel and who I want to work with and what I want to accomplish. So that's really, the thing. You don't want to feel trapped in someone else's definition of what a good life or success looks like. I don't know. Does that answer the
Yeah, that
question?
does. That really does. So you help business owners attain freedom essentially with their branding. Yeah. And when that finally clicks, so what are some things that they can expect? Freedom of term.
Well, attract better fit clients, communicate more clearly, stop chasing everyone and the kitchen sink, kind of thing, over explaining yourself. Just, being able to have people walk up to you, listen to what you say and say, I get it. That's freedom.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so tell us a little bit about your personal story, your story of resilience and determination. Your childhood story is incredibly intense. Can you just share a little bit, like how did it, what did life look like when you were growing up? I know you said you lived under 20 different roofs from the time of 13 to 18 years old, and that has probably had quite an effect on you, I would think.
Well, I expect yes.
Yes.
I would not be me and be able to do the things that I do and see what I can see and hear and translate and do all the storytelling and things of that nature had I not had the background that I had. So, I wouldn't. I understand that other people would see that my background was intense or difficult or struggles or what have you. I just think it's different. It was an interesting kind of a life. So basically, I lived with my grandmother until I was 13, predominantly at least, and then she died. And so after she died, life became really unpredictable. My mom decided that she was going to live her life and wasn't really interested in being a mother anymore.
Wow. Yeah.
So she found me, I guess, at my first couple of places to live, and she lives elsewhere. And then I had to continue the wonderful theme of finding places to live. And so I had 20 different places I lived between the age of 13 to 18 when I went to college.
So, I mean, probably built quite a bit of determination in you, right?
Well, definitely independence. I was very independent. I was very gung ho on succeeding. So I basically saw my world as how do I want to say this? I saw my world as not being something that was going to define me. That my circumstances were only temporary, and that as soon as I could actually be an adult until I was 18 and could legally be able to choose things for myself, I would make better choices. And I would actually succeed. And one of those things I had to have an education to get me out of where I was. And that was my ticket. My ticket out was to get an education. So it didn't matter how many roofs I lived under. I always went to school. I always got good grades because that was my determination to get out of the situation and never be in that situation ever again.
Right. Wow. So with your education, you said that was just very important to you. You knew that you had to go on and were you the first person in your entire family to get a 4-year degree? Is that right?
Yes, I am. And I also am the only person that has a long-term marriage. Let's see, 29 years. I've been married for 29 years. Nobody in my family had that. Nobody owned property. I own property. Um, let's see, I've traveled to many countries over 5 continents. So that was a big thing for me, is to be a world traveler. So, these are all great momentous things that I accomplished that no one showed me. No one showed me how to be a entrepreneur. They all worked for the man, if they worked at all. You know what I'm saying? Like all these things I did because I wanted them and I was determined to get them. I was going to succeed no matter what.
That's wonderful. Have you written a book? And if you have, can we get this book? If you haven't, are you going to write a book?
I have. I haven't published a book yet, but I have written down a lot of these stories of these roofs, and the different things that happen. Because, oh my gosh, some of the stories are amazing and crazy and wild, that I went through during this time. I mean, 13 to 18 is a very young age to be essentially living on your own. But I did know that I didn't want to go into foster care. So
You lived under that many roofs and you were never in foster care?
no, I was never in foster care.
Wow. How did you get around the adults finding out?
Well, it was a secret life. I had a secret life going.
Girl, you got to write a book. And then you turn it into a movie. That's wild. You were so determined that you were keeping it from all the adults.
Well,
That's amazing.
the thing here is that I knew the game I was playing was going to take me to getting to my education. If any adult found out what was going on and they inserted themselves into my world, they would have taken me out of my own game. And
Wow.
and that would not probably have led to me getting my education, which was my goal. So there were 3 teachers. Well, there was 2 teachers and a guidance counselor that knew my story in high school. And they understood who I was. They didn't just see me as a child in a situation. They saw who I was and how determined I was to do the things that they kept a watchful eye, but they didn't insert themselves in my situation, which was very nice.
So what would you say to someone who feels stuck, who feels, in a similar situation like that? How could you encourage them?
Well, number one is your current circumstances are not your final identity. That's number one. And the thing is that you have to dream and you have to believe in yourself. And if you do both of those things, anything, if you're determined enough, anything, and it doesn't matter what happens to you circumstantially, your bigger goal is a much bigger thing. And as long as you're making choices to get to that bigger goal, life's going to happen.
Yeah.
Things are going to, there's going to be twists and turns and all kinds of things. But you know what? Those are what makes the good stories.
Right.
And if you can actually look at life as a good story, that, man, you're going to have a great story one day to tell, then it looks a lot more positive than so down and dreary. And I think that's one of the things in college, funny enough, in college, my friends at dinner time would sit next to me to eat dinner so that they could hear my stories. They'd ask me to tell them stories.
Wow.
And so I would just tell stories and they said, man, you've got the best stories ever. Well, because I'd already lived.
Yeah.
I'd already lived. I lived a lot. Right. And so there's lots of things that I could tell and people could learn from. And that's exactly what it is. You have to look at what your circumstances are from a positive perspective always, because that's going to get you to the opportunities that you're wanting and looking for.
Well, I hope you will write that book, because I do think it is going to be very interesting. And I think many people will buy it and read it. And then after that, I hope you will be a TEDx speaker. And after that, I hope we can get you to come. And I've got a friend who works with a few friends that work with nonprofit organizations with children that are in foster care. and children whose parents have either given them up, have died, or are in the prison system. And anyway, two of my friends, you would probably be an amazing speaker for some of those kiddos to hear, for sure, because you're on the other side of it. You've built success in life, and now you're helping other people build success, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs. You're helping us to do branding. But you've got a lot that went into that, right? A lot. Yeah. I can't wait to see where the future takes you. I think you're going to be amazing. You're going to help a lot of people. And anyway, I really appreciate you being on here, but I've got a couple of fun little questions for you. So apparently you always wear polka dots or spots or circles or something like that. Tell us about it. Why? What's up with that? It's very whimsical and cute. But
Thank you.
Yeah.
Exactly. There you go. How can you be unhappy when there's
exactly
dots? I mean, that's the whole thing. They're fun. But no, basically it's an homage to my grandmother. And so my grandmother used to love polka dots. She used to love wearing polka dots. And she used to say the word spot on, or the phrase spot on a lot.
Wow,
and so those are the two things. And then I always say that I connect the dots for people in their branding. So that's that. And then, basically it's just fun.
It is. I love polka dots.
Cubs just really spoke to me in all the different ways.
So, and then you're traveling. I have to hear you've been everywhere. So what is your absolute favorite place you've ever been? Or if you haven't been there, you want to go. Really, really.
Good golly. That's very hard because I love all the places that I go to. I pick them specifically for their cultural kind of dynamics and other things, not just for the destination or the sightseeing. I really like to travel with a whole big kind of understanding of the culture of the place that I go to. But I guess the most impactful place that I've been to is Norway. And that is because my ancestors come from Norway, and I got to meet my second cousins once removed, my third cousins. And I got to recreate a photograph that my grandmother took with her first cousins of the same family.
That's cool.
And in the exact same place that they were in 1946, 1947, somewhere in there. And I got to do that and meet them. It was, I got to see where my great-great-grandparents lived and the farms that my great-great-great-grandparents were on. And, it was absolutely the coolest thing that I've ever experienced because it was just so, it was so interesting to see where my roots came from.
Right. Did you feel anything like a familiarity or anything when you were there?
Well, I definitely, there was this one time, or this, they have these churches called stav churches, and they are made of big poles, staves, and they're all wooden, and they were built by the Viking era times, and very cool. There's only a handful of them left in Scandinavia, and I got to visit several of them, but the very first one, it's called Heddal. It's right outside of Oslo. I actually felt it so deeply that I broke down into ugly tears, and I couldn't stop crying. Before I even got out of the car, I was in the parking lot just looking, and I was just in ugly tears, just saying, "It's so beautiful. I'm here. I'm really here to be here." It was bad. It was so bad. But so amazingly touching and beautiful, and what have you.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That is really cool. Often wonder about energy. You spoke about energy earlier in branding, and I also wonder about energy and, generations ago, your family members were from there. So anyway, that's just interesting. Well, I just thank you so much for being on here. So there's more to branding than just logos, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate that information. If somebody wanted to get in touch with you and work with you, they could find you on your website, right? Could you tell everybody your website? And I will leave it in the summary below too.
Perfect. So spotonbranding.com, that's spot-onbranding.com. And you can reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram. And I am at Nora D. Richardson on Instagram and Nora Day Richardson on Facebook. Oh, and LinkedIn too. You can get me on LinkedIn. And
Yeah, well, I can't wait to work with you. I really cannot wait to work with you myself.
I would love that.
Yes.
Sarah, I would love that.
I need some help, girl. So, okay, I will be in touch. I've got a list of things that I'm working on. It is definitely on the list, and you are the one. So, anyway, I just want to tell everyone, thank you so much. Come listen to the next podcast. It'll be out next week. Every week we drop a new one. And don't forget to follow Nora D. Richardson on all the social media platforms. Thank you again, Nora, for being here.
Thank you
Bye,
so much.
everybody. Till next time.